Hello, World Wide Web. I'm Dr. Shado, the internet personality with the best hair. I've been knee-deep in horror all summer, so I think it's about time I kick back and enjoy an action movie. Aside from Predator, a buddy action movie. It's a common enough formula where it tends to exist in its own subgenre, the buddy cop movie, but the formula can be used in many different ways, like we see in today's film, Route 666. Which has your traditional buddy cop banter, but the buddies in question aren't partners. One's a cop and the other's in handcuffs. Don't let that spoil the mood, though. This is still a pure action movie from start to finish, with guns blazing, shady deals, and of course, undead prisoners summoned from a cursed stretch of road thirsting for blood. Well, shit. Oh, fuck it, we've gone this far. So it's a zombie movie. Buddy cop with his best buddy, convict, must traverse across an abandoned roadway cursed with the undead. I just wanted action. Well, let's take a look at Route 666 and see if it has enough cross-genre appeal where I won't feel too disappointed. The film opens up with... Whoa. Okay, fuck the credits. Seriously, it continues flashing between black and white for 2 minutes and 10 seconds. I'm not risking giving my audience a seizure. Who the fuck didn't think this was a problem? The actual story opens with Stephen Williams as a patron at a bar. You may recognize this actor from Twilight Zone, the movie, where he played bar patron. Typecast much? This bar is run by none other than Dick Miller, who you better recognize from A Bucket of Blood, and before long 2 more people barge in, Lori Petty, aka Tank Girl, and Lou Diamond Phillips, who I personally remember for his portrayal of Richie Valens in La Bamba. Walter Paisley is serving Richie Valens and his sweetheart Tank Girl. If this movie ever leaves the bar, I'm going to be sorely disappointed. As the couple makes complete asses out of themselves in record time, Williams decides to get a little peace and quiet in the bathroom. As luck would have it, this doesn't work. And not just because Lou is playing a selfish prick in this movie.
Fuck shit! The fuck is this? I'm really not into this S&M shit, okay? Who the fuck are you people?
Who do we look like?
Oh shit, you mean you really are Richie Valens and Tank Girl? Oh no, they're federal agents, Jack LaRocca and Steph. Oh, well, her character wasn't important enough for her last name. Turns out that Williams is playing a criminal who made a deal with the police to testify against certain organizations, but he feels that the officers won't be able to protect him from the people he's pissed off.
You guys don't know Benny, alright? You don't understand.
Don't understand? Sure we do.
We get paid to understand.
Oh, so you realize people are coming to kill him, and this somehow solves the problem? And to be fair, it does end their argument.
Okay, I'm in.
I do appreciate that he skirted around the issue long enough that we get to start out with a shootout.
Oh, this does not feel like protected custody.
Oh, you'll be fine. The camera's shaking so damn much, there's next to no chance that you'll actually get shot. The opening action sequence overall is pretty entertaining. There are problems, yes, but it mostly does its job with the angles and tension. The cameraman with Parkinson's disease isn't really working in its favor, but if you look past that, there is still something to enjoy here. Oh, and I think that part is actually supposed to be disorienting. Snapping out of this odd vision, the cops eventually escape with the help of another group of cast members taking out the entire hit squad, spare the all-important Russian hitman. You know he's Russian because his character name is Russian Hitman, though his actor Sven Ole Thorsen is a native of Denmark, which makes him about as Russian as FPS Russia. But let's introduce the rest of the quote-unquote good guys. PT, played by Dale Midkiff, Mercedes Collin as Mary, Nick, played by Alex MacArthur, and Rob Roy Fitzgerald as the enigmatic Joe. And no, none of them have last names. Hell, at least 3 of them actually have first names. What the hell does PT stand for? Protagonist's Tormentor? As his opening character traits establish that PT doesn't know anything about Jack, and therefore doesn't trust him, and therefore feels antagonistic towards him. Not that the others stray much from this mentality.
So tell me, what is Super Cop doing on loan to the Witness Protection Agency?
No, baby, we're on loan to him.
Oh, well, that explains nothing. Thanks. The gun didn't shoot yet. That's a little better. don't know how you managed to shoot around the car frame. I mean, it's obvious it wasn't through the windshield, it's still intact. I mean, I know he's a big target, but come on. Thus explains the all-important plot point of how Russian hitman got a car. Still, we need some filler and exposition, so Jack begins telling Williams about his own character backstory, that he worked for the Mafia, and his name is Frederick Smith.
It was Frederick Smith, okay? My name is Rabbit now. I like Rabbit. Call me Rabbit.
So he's not into S&M, but he likes to be called Rabbit. This is getting weird. It turns out the Mafia deals with the Russians are what sparked Rabbit to leave this line of work and begin his illustrious career of running for his life. Something that comes in very handy as this government escort just so happens to have no fucking idea how to navigate through the desert back to LA. Nah, an immigration joke would be way too fucking crass. So Rabbit reads the out-of-print tour guide and hems it up for his audience.
It was the most dangerous stretch of Route 66. The ones local call... Dun dun dun! Route 666.
Because Route straight-to-DVD movie just didn't roll off the tongue so well.
Officially condemned in 1969 in the wake of a tragic chain gang accident.
Now damn it, Rabbit, would you put down the storyboards and get back to reading the map? After all is said and done, they go from having no idea where they are to knowing exactly where they are well enough to reach Rattlesnake Ranch, which leads into Route 666. It also looks like the city went out of their way to actually manufacture a Route 666 sign. Which is kind of weird because according to the storybook, that was supposed to be a nickname. And according to the DVD cover art, it's supposed to be graffiti, which would make a lot more sense. Funny thing, even though he led them there in the first place, Rabbit actually doesn't want to travel the infamous Route 666. But Jack has another pesky psycho vision and decides they have to take this road. And leave as obvious a trail as possible.
See, but that's exactly why I don't pay taxes.
Well, that, and the fact that it does get a little uneasy at H&R Block when you have to ask whether or not police bribes are tax deductible.
You know what? I have always wanted to ride in a 68 Catalina.
69.
You know, I've always wanted to ride in a 69 Catalina.
Actually it's a 67. Therefore, the important characters all gather in one car, while the disposable characters follow behind. Naturally, they are subsequently followed by a local officer, who is sure to follow procedure to the letter.
Freeze! Hands up! Whoa! Hands where I can see them!
Always do everything in your power to escalate the situation, especially when you can clearly see that your suspect is armed and has a badge. He postures at them for a bit, but the local cops don't have much to offer the plot just yet, and he eventually lets them go. Strangely, on his way back, he does not seem to notice the Russian hitman coming down the road. Or maybe the road's only off limits to characters within the frame. Far more important to the plot right this minute, Jack and company come across an old graveyard. After poking around for a little, he finds his father tucked away in the back behind a boulder. Which might sound like it's leading into a touching scene. Until this happens.
What the hell are you two doing out here? Trying to raise the dead? It's 112 degrees in the shade.
Our friend Prosthetic Testicles arrives to spoil the mood. In a major way, as he evidently read a lot about these four particular men when he was younger, and geeks out about all the horrible crimes they committed. Also, now that it's plot relevant, he realizes that Jack has the same last name as John, La Roca. And based on this extremely flimsy connection to someone else who may or may not have been a criminal, proceeds to beat the shit out of him! The fuck do you even say to that?
You have guns, why don't y'all just shoot each other?
I suppose that works. Before they can settle their differences like 8-year-olds, Russian hitman arrives and... racks his suppressor? Who the fuck was the Foley guy on this thing? As the federal agents are just fucking around, literally, they don't notice him coming. Fortunately for Rabbit, though, the man's a terrible shot. I am starting to wonder if actor just couldn't do Russian accent. Even when dying, he makes no sound. Now that he is officially out of this movie, we can introduce the new threat, with the ghost zombie phantoms of the old chain gang that mysteriously died in 1967. Rabbit has consistently had the best advice in this movie. It's just too bad that all the rest of the characters consistently ignore everything he says. Likewise, Joe does not score a single headshot, instead being surrounded by the zombie crew and pounded into the road with the spectral jackhammer. Getting the gun himself and removing the suppressor, Rabbit manages to end the childish bickering of Professor Testosterone, at least temporarily. waited a little bit before revealing that. The movie's only about half over, you know. Amidst this shaky cam and dips to 15 frames per second, the rest of the group manages to escape, with Steph and Rabbit in the Catalina, the feds in the SUV, and Jack stealing the stolen Jeep to flee on his own. Rabbit is sure to give more exposition during this drive, explaining how the zombie ghosts haunt the road specifically and cannot leave the road.
I'm telling you, I think they get their energy from the road.
They get their energy from the road? Fine. Where the hell does the road get the energy from?
That's funny, because after they install solar frickin' roadways, people are still going to be asking that question because that shit don't work. New crisis, however. Their tires are melting! So they make a pit stop over at the drive-in theater from Fallout 3.
Well, not that it matters now, but check it out. The road's not hot anymore.
You're in the Nevada desert! You just said it was like 120 degrees outside, and the road's not hot? I'm thinking that the ghosts under the road have just turned the AC on to fuck with you. Oh, wait, there was that other important character, right? Jack wakes up in a cave with a funny-looking man, so obviously he is a wise shaman of some kind. Played by authentic Cayuga, Gary Farmer. I can sum up this scene with the following. Wisdom, foreshadowing, and hallucinogenic drugs.
What kind of tea is that anyway? Peyote tea.
So it's up to you to decide whether or not anything beyond this point in the movie actually fucking happens. With that, he leaves, and we're back to the Silver Lining Drive-In with the expendable characters. They appear to be having a contest to find out which one is the most annoying, and for his treatment of Rabbit, I'd say Nick wins.
Shit, for Christ's sake! That wasn't funny, okay? Asshole!
As his prize, he gets to walk off alone to the cars by the road and get some cigarettes, which we watch for several minutes. You know what this means. Some of you may be wondering why he didn't just grab the cigarettes and just walk right back. Simple. It's a horror movie. Why his fingers grow back instantly, I'm a little more unclear about, but that's one more character down. Therefore, it's a small enough group so Jack can join back up with everyone. Of course, he does need to get filled in on what's going on.
Well, we came
Well,
up here
basically,
to...
Jack is like this. We're fucked.
Fucking Rabbit stealing all my best lines. We learned that the Jeep's tires were also destroyed off-screen, and they are stranded without food, water, or Nick. Since they figure Nick is by the car, they all head down to get him, except for Rabbit.
This is...
Shit! Well, not the monster I was expecting to come out, but it might work.
Motherfucker.
Scorpions don't have red blood. After this, while the group is determining that Nick is nowhere to be found, Rabbit finds out something new. Evidently, they can leave the road, so long as it's for a good horror cause, like a jump scare or trying to kill a black man. Which they fail to do, amazingly enough, as he rips the pole he's handcuffed to up out of the ground, running back to the others for help.
Where the hell do you think you're going?
He's been screaming, "Help, Jack, help," the entire time he's been running towards you. You honestly believe he was trying to escape custody? They establish that apparently the spectral felons can walk on concrete as well as the road. But that's not helping to solve their problem, so they finally notice the nearby payphone, which lo and behold has a dial tone.
Call 911!
But first, call for a pizza or something. Trust me, they'll arrive long before the police do. He winds up reaching Sheriff Bob Conaway, played by Beaumont, Texas native L.Q. Jones. Jack asks the sheriff call the U.S. Marshal's office in Los Angeles to bring him some much-needed backup. Oh, wait a minute. Why the hell didn't Jack just call them directly? Oh, because then the sheriff can't just ignore their request, of course. So instead of sending help, they just come down themselves.
Cops, thank God.
Oh well, help's help, right?
Where are they?
Fuck you.
Oh, well, maybe they're just messing around with you.
No, you son of a bitch!
Oh. Okay, definitely not messing around. Yeah, the local police are bad guys. They have come to silence the feds, but need to figure out where the last few agents are hiding. You may be wondering why the cops want them dead. So am I, especially considering they could have just not shown up and they'd all die anyway. Steph is predictably adamant about not giving away Jack's location, but we can always count on P.T. Barnum to fuck things up, pointing out that they have one man in the bathroom.
What the fuck are you doing?
They had to, but drunken math, fear, and convenient deception lead themselves to very interesting situations. Thus, they grab a Rabbit, while unknowingly leaving La Roca behind, At this point, the sheriff begins his villain rant about how he in fact never called for their backup. However, before he can get in all the details on how he didn't dial a phone, one of the police cars begins to drive off.
Maybe it's another one of them. Go bring him back.
I think maybe bad guys in movies are just incredibly lonely people. He could easily blow everyone away right now, but they insist on bringing everyone around to have a chat first. As the young officer pursues Jack, the man reveals that he is in fact not in the lead car, allowing him to pull off a deceptive maneuver.
It does look like your friend is toast.
And I don't mind my son destroying relatively expensive police property. Such things aren't suspicious at all. Out of view, Jack gets Deputy Gill, played by Adam Verner, to admit that the police knew about the ghost zombie chain gang curse of the road, and we learn that they are attracted to blood.
Can't stay on the road.
I know that part. Now I want to know why. Because they kill anything on the road. I know that. Why?
Because it's a fucking horror movie. Why? There's zombies in it. Why? Oh, who fucking knows anymore? Shortly thereafter, the Vertebratergeists make another appearance and use the power of shaky cam and frame rate drops to pound the ever-loving fuck out of the deputy while Jack runs away. When Bob goes to check up on his son, we get our climactic battle, complete with the other deputy getting caught in a struggle with phosphorescent trilobite. Oh fuck, I'm sure there were other words with P and T that I could have used that would have been better than that. I don't have to worry too much about it anymore as the man is shot, along with the officer.
There's a new marshal in town.
Well, so long as they don't conduct background checks, of course. With Jack and Bob, we finally learn why the police would actually want to kill the agents. As it turns out, the big chain gang accident in the past was no accident, but an execution, led by none other than Sheriff Bob Conaway.
You were the road boss. You put them in the road. You buried them alive.
Buried them alive after blowing them away with shotguns. People have a really weird definition of alive. Nevertheless, the blood of the sheriff summons the monsters one last time, who go after Jack. That is, until he calls his father to help him, which results in the La Roca zombie fighting off the rest of the undead men, again with extreme use of shaky cam. You know, it's still not as bad as Alien Origin. With the dead people all deader, but not like the deaders, like, ah, fuck it, you know. John LaRocca fades off to finally rest. However, this doesn't stop the last kill before the reel ends, where Bob is taken out by a spectral steamroller, and our heroes walk off to the horizon, sure to die of dehydration before the week is out. I mean, they could take the cars, but, I mean, the tires, they're all ruined, and the police cruiser's got a flat, and this was stupid in Jeepers Creepers 2, and it's stupid now. I mean, yeah, you'll ruin the rims, but fuck it, you're going to die by walking. And never mind, that was Route 666, and it was just cheese whiz entertainment, and it embraced that. You cannot accuse this movie of taking itself too seriously, even when the serious tones do come up, like Jack and his father, or the murder of the chain gang. They are relatively downplayed compared to how similar events would be depicted in some movies. The focus tends to be on character interactions. Granted, sometimes the character interaction doesn't make much sense, but for the most part, it is entertaining. I've got to hand it to this movie. This is one of the films where it's actually fun to watch the filler, in no small part thanks to the writing and at least decent acting. There are problems, of course, and quite a lot of them. The action is hard to enjoy because of the absolutely ridiculous overuse of shaky cam. Sadly, when the camera isn't shaking all over the place, the dropped frame rate is almost even worse. It's easy to look past these flaws early on, but towards the end there's so much of it the movie can honestly become hard to watch. Overall, Route 666 is a very flawed but very entertaining movie with decent acting out of the important characters and a simple enough story. The big plus in its favor is that the movie realizes it's a low-budget joyride and never pretends to be anything else, doing a damn good job with what it has, and coming in at 3 so-called Russian assassins out of 5. I suppose one more gripe is the fact that they had Dick Miller on set, but barely even a cameo appearance. No, I suppose the studio wouldn't really have to worry too much about hordes of angry Dick Miller fanboys coming to tear the place down. Thank you all for watching. I've been Decker Shado, and remember, if you bury 4 prisoners underneath the road, you don't need to spring for 4 gravestones by the side of the road. You might need that money to replace your tires.
Oh, no, so there you go with that S&M shit again. Whoa, whoa. Don't leave me here with Helen Keller and the 3 blind mice. I am not safe with them.